Starting from the very beginning, I have to go back a long way. I had left Italy in 1952 for England, and then I found myself in Australia, and at the time I was living in Redcliffe, and I connected to the Dante Alighieri, and I connected to the Italian consulate, and they asked me if I were to help in a scheme, which was a voluntary scheme to teach Italian or help remember Italian to the second generation, to the children of migrants. Italy had provided money for that. The only money from Italy was for the teaching of Italian to migrants, Italian migrants, so I did. Tried to, and so I connected to them, and actually they were not terribly keen, wanted to learn Italian. They were keen on wanting to talk about their situation as a second generation and the problems they encountered being trapped between the two cultures. So we compromised, so we said, okay, let's do some Italian and let's talk about the problems. And that was the beginning of my realizing that there were problems within the community in trying to settle in this country. And some of the children were very distressed, especially the girls, especially teenage girls. And so I took upon myself to sometimes go and talk to the parents to try and alleviate the problem, to try and make them understand, you know, the difference in culture and where the children were at, and they had to compromise some of their ideas. So that was the beginning of it all. So we set out to find workers, and we didn't find any bilingual social workers. So the problem arose there, and I had to go and do a course myself in order to be able to have the knowledge of the system and to be able to start a service. When my first day came, then I didn't even have a desk or the telephone or anything, just zero. So that was the beginning of it all, yes. So I brought my own desk, and then, you know, asked for the telephone to be connected, and then that was the beginning.
The early days were quite different than the current Co.As.It, when we had, you know, 3 or 4 staff members, and possibly, I think at the time we would have had maybe 4 or 5 community care workers that were providing services to the community. But when you say services to the community, we're really only providing services to the Italian community at the time, and only a small number. I could possibly say maybe, you know, 10 to 15 clients we started providing services to, and the staff members were just the 3 or 4 staff members.
It was always an extension of people knowing someone else. It was always a one-on-one. And back then we didn't have a lot of advertising. We didn't need a lot of advertising. If you did something good and something effective for one family, another family would know about it in an instance, and they'd come and seek help. We didn't ever have problems getting clients, ever. We always had a reason to contact people, and those reasons were always very positive. It was very rare that we had a lot of crisis situations, although there were a number of crisis situations which were dealt with really effectively as well. It was really just supporting families and individuals in a way that you would in a village setup, and that was really the ethos of our organisation at that point. We were seen as the extended family and as workers.
It was at the time that the consul at the time, Cardona, was trying to get Italian as a priority language. So again, we had steering committees, and mainly Griffith University was involved. And after about a year, we found that Italian was one of the 6 priority languages of the time, and of course that meant more funding and more opening of schools, etc. The teachers of Italian were not qualified. And it was a time where Queensland was following in South Australia's footsteps, starting from the 80s and going on to the 90s, that everyone really had to be qualified and you needed a piece of paper. And I remember being on steering committees with Griffith Uni and the consuls being involved as well. And I must say that it was lovely to see that, well, when I left, I know that there are only 3 or 4 teachers who were not qualified. That to me was a really important thing that happened and that had to be done.
When I first got involved with the organisation, we were a small organisation, so it was a little fish in a big ocean. Through all these years, I've seen our organisation expand from year to year, which makes me so proud, because that for me is my little part that I've contributed to Co.As.It in ensuring of making sure that we expand, making sure that we have assets that we can live for the next generation of people that will take over the organisation.
Co.As.It provides something to those people, like in the way of assistance and in their own homes and in all the facilities you help them with is incredible. You know, I do come across a lot of people because, in particularly aged people, I do come across a lot of them because I'm one of them as well. Yes, they do attend lots of entertainment, a lot of outings, which happens every weekly. Another one day a week is the Thursday. So it's a lot of people I do know, they do attend at Casa Sirena. So yes, and they all talk good about it. So people don't understand what Co.As.It does. It is incredible. It's incredible. I think I am proud and orgoglioso di essere coinvolto e associato con Co.As.It, past and present.
There have been a number of highlights during this period. I think on the serious side, it's the growth in the organisation, the increased presence in aged care. It was a strategic decision to expand the aged care services of Co.As.It, firstly from our base of Italian elderly people, which I think we cater for extremely well, as pretty much the sole organisation that does it, and then expanding it to include people from other backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, and more recently people of Australian background. And that's been an enormous growth, which has really propelled us to a different level of operations. We are now a very effective, very efficient organisation. As I said, the Chief Executive has been the primary driver of that, but we've also had other key people like our Treasurer and our IT consultant to be able to develop systems and procedures to keep up with the growth and to plan for the future.
The heartbeat of this organisation has to be the staff. Without the staff, we wouldn't be able to grow as much as we did. The services that they provide are of a high standard and their heart is in the right place. I'm very proud of the staff that we are able to attract to this organisation, because you can easily attract them, but you've also got to maintain that staff so they stay with you. So I'm very proud to see that the average length of time that staff remain with us is between 8 to 10 years. Myself being with the organisation 31 years, my assistant been here more than 25 years, and many other coordinators that have been here more than 15 years. It is evidence that they believe in the focus of the organisation. They believe in the vision of the organisation. They believe in providing a service that is very much needed in the community.